Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with JP8 Report, episode 30. Thank you for joining us today. Today's episode is named The Border Crisis Continues. I'm going to do a little bit about the border crisis down in the RGV and across the rest of the southern border of the United States, and then a few other subjects. So this is episode 30. The border crisis continues. Before we begin, thank you for joining us, and I just request that if you're whichever platform you join in, primarily on Rumble and then YouTube and Podbean, don't forget to follow and subscribe to those platforms when you're watching us, and share it out and tell your friends about us. Okay, thank you very much for joining us today. So today's like day 44, 45 since Kamala Harris has been appointed, I guess, impromptu border czar or whatever they want to call it these days. Her and the president both have yet to go down to the southern border to see what's up. Besides what's up, they need to do an appearance down there to check out the facilities and talk to the border people, not just the upper echelon ICE and CBP and the Homeland Security people. They need to actually be down there and talk to the troopers on the ground, the actual agents, the Texas DPS agents. Same thing with New Mexico and Arizona and California, to see what's really going on. Because when you're in echelons, as we used to call echelons above God, please don't take that one serious. That's just a phrase we used in the Army. That would dictate that it describe the person that's way above what reality really is. Okay, but until you're able to go down there and check out the facilities yourself, you have no idea who is telling the truth and what's actually happening. I mean, yeah, sure, there's been both Republicans and Democrats go down to the southern border. Some people come back with different reports, but until you actually lay eyes on what's going on, you'll never actually understand what's transpiring down there. Okay. So some of the stuff that I've learned over the last few days, and some of it I've known all along. So they won't go down there. The VP had a conference, of the Conference of the Americas, and she said her goal is, it was some kind of a speech, but it wasn't a news conference. It was just a speech. And they want to find the root causes of migration. But at the same time, they say they want to ask people like Japan and Finland. Well, Finland's near the Arctic Circle in Scandinavia. Who cares? This is the United States of America. Then we got Mexico and the Northern Triangle countries, where the vast majority of the legal immigration is coming from. Why don't we see what's going on down there? I can tell you what one of the problems is since I gotta pick up something. The problems is you have cartels in charge of northern Mexico. I almost consider Mexico as like a failed government, because they have no control what's going on. They can deploy military assets up there. People are still flowing across the border, both northern and southern. They just need some help from us to stop it. Okay, the cartels, they're charging between $5,000 and $10,000 a person to get them across illegally, so they can get caught and sent back. But a lot of times is when they're actually doing the illegal immigration operations, they'll do it in one sector, and another sector, when they know all those agents are helping a flood of refugees or they'll actually send their drugs across, or their guns across, or their gangsters across. Um, I would say that we need to make an effort to interdict that, which we are, but the instead of, how do you put it? We need to put them out of business. Okay, the coyotes and smugglers, the penalties for doing that need to be greatly enhanced, whether it be in Mexico or in the United States. It's human smuggling. Okay, human trafficking. Yeah, that's all you have to say about it. In Houston the other day, they found 90 people inside of a suburban home. 90 men. And then some of them tested positive for COVID. How do you get away with that? Okay. But yeah, the Homeland Security found the people in the house, but what happened to the people that put them in the house? There needs to be accountability for those agents or whoever reported the people in there. That, yeah, it's like taking down a drug user that just made a buy on a street corner, but they just left the seller right there and took the other guy into custody. It ain't never gonna work when you do it like that. You need to take the main culprits off the border, and if you inhibit the flow of money and that they can actually get, because they're all getting caught and thrown into jail, and seal off that border, it'll stop. Okay, it did for a couple years with President Trump, because they figured out what to do. One of them was, look, you stop the people from coming over, and we'll give you your aid. You let it free flow, we're going to stop. Okay. Governor Abbott was on. Governor Abbott's the governor of the great state of Texas, and he was giving an interview the other morning, and one of the things that he was talking about that I did not know is Texas spends on average $400 to $800 million a year on the southern border. Okay, I could be wrong on that. It may be 400 to 800 million a month, or 400 to 800 million a year. It's still a lot of money. Okay, we have the right to protect our people that live in our state, and that's almost the first entry point to coming into the United States. So we're protecting our citizens and the nation's citizens by using our DPS officers and Texas Rangers on the border and our Texas National Guard. That would be a good thing we could do, as long as we can keep them funded and stuff. But we can arrest as many of those people we want, and then they're just going to process them, and then, hey, here's your court date, and then we'll give you legal status while you're waiting for your court date. It's crazy. And why not send people here? They if someone illegally works in the United States, or not illegally, the average the immigration people that work in the United States every year, they send back $40 billion of income back to Mexico. So they come here, make our money, and if they got legal status, they can pay taxes. If they're illegals, they're not paying taxes, or they stole someone's identity and paying the taxes for them. But they're sending their money back to Mexico to support their families. It's about $40 billion a year. That's a cash cow, because they're probably not going to be able to make that kind of money back home. So I could see that part. Okay. But we have to continue to put the pressure on the administration to address the crisis that's going down on the southern border. Okay. My family's important. Your family's important. Something's got to be done. The people coming across the border are very important. I understand that. They're human beings just like I am and my family. They're being totally abused by those cartel members and those smugglers that are putting them across the border, not carrying them. They break the law. They drop them over fences or throwing them in the river, the Rio Grande. It's got to end. We have to stop those smugglers on the border, and they can be done. Okay. One other thing I want to talk about today is the president was on TV yesterday talking about COVID, and evidently it looks like they're lowering the bar on the vaccines. He was putting out yesterday, by July 4th, he wanted 160 million Americans to be fully vaccinated. Well, I thought the goal was 200 million, and I guess they ran into a problem where people are not showing the willingness to go get vaccinated, whether it's from stuff they're seeing on TV with like the J&J or the confidence that our federal government is putting in to the fidelity of the vaccine, because like Harris and Biden and the people in our Congress, they're running around fully vaccinated, and they're still wearing masks, and they're shaming people. The president yesterday was calling. He said, "Well, someone asked him the question about how we could get more people vaccinated," and he started talking. He said, "Well, concerning the people that are not vaccinated," and I'm messing up the paraphrase a little bit, but he said, "I don't want to really say this, but," and this is it from him, "I don't really want to say this, but they're lazy." Okay, that's basically how he put them. He wanted to call people lazy, but he didn't want to say it, but he said it anyway. I look at it as a personal choice if you want to get the vaccine. Truth be told, I got both the Moderna shots. One of my daughters, she's got both of her shots. My wife's got both of her shots. I got a daughter in college. She had COVID in February, and she's about to start getting her vaccines. It's our own personal decision. We didn't tell anyone they had to do it. I don't think it's the government's job to tell everyone to do it. They don't mandate that we all get the flu shot at all. And that's a virus. It's just like the COVID, okay? Two different types of viruses, though. I can see this coming down the pipe where they'd go in, say, well, if you want to cross state lines, or if you want to travel on an airplane, if you want to go on a boat, or you want to visit a national park or go shopping, you have to produce your vaccine card. That's like in the Bible in the times of the tribulation. Well, I won't be here anyway, but yeah, they talk about the mark of the beast. You know, you look at, if you have to carry around your COVID-19 vaccine card to show people that you're vaccinated to be able to do anything, why? We don't carry around our shot records to show people we've had polio or MMR or Hep B or shingles shot, or flu vaccine or yearly flu vaccine. So we're restricting the movement of Americans, which is totally against the Constitution, okay? The government needs to stay out of it. If people want to get their vaccine, they can. That's how it is. That's the way it will be. You can't force people to go out and get their shots. You can't. And you can't shame them. People getting in fights walking down the streets and stuff. People look at them and says, "Where's your mask?" And next thing you know, you got a mask. You got a fight going on. We're not seeing that down here in Texas because we've pretty much grasped. If you look at the 7-day rolling averages in Texas from coronavirus, they are low. I will check one thing for you if I can get my mouse to work, because I check this stuff all the time. Every single day, about 4 o'clock, Texas releases its numbers from the previous day's reported stuff for coronavirus. And like yesterday there was 53 deaths in the state of Texas and 3,200 new cases. Okay, and the day prior to that was 1,203 cases and only 6 deaths. So the rolling average looks like right now for deaths in Texas in the low 40s. Okay, we have 254 counties. We have 29 million citizens in Texas. That's a low rate. We have almost 10% of the nation's population here, and we had only 53 deaths yesterday. Okay, 1 death is too many, but we're in the end edges of this pandemic, and if you're vaccinated, good. There are a lot of people out there that's natural immune or asymptomatic. They'll get their treatments where they need to. It's not as horrible as it was just a few months ago. One of the other items I wanted to talk about was we saw a video that was produced by the Central Intelligence, quote unquote, agency, and they did a recruitment video, and they do recruitment videos all the time. But this one this year was a Latino lady, and then I don't even know what to describe. I don't know what an intersectionist. I've never heard of it. So if you know what that is, please send me a comment. Educate me, because I have no clue. My question is, why are they profiling this young lady? And why is this video totally public? I thought people in the CIA are supposed to be secret. You know, I've held jobs when I was in the Army. I couldn't tell people exactly what I did or where I was stationed at. That's for not the protection of me, it's protection of my family members. Okay. Why are they profiling this young lady? She's the first of a lot of stuff. I still don't know what an intersectionalist is. But the mission of the CIA is not to be woke or socially diversive. You need people in the Central Intelligence Agency that are straight shooters and produce raw intelligence and make assessments that are vital to the functioning and to the survival of our country against our enemies, and not to give the enemies a heads up on how soft we are and compassionate we are. We just need to develop the intelligence to get it to the president, so the president can make the decisions that we need to make to protect our country and protect all the citizens in our country, not to be producing these $10 million videos, if that's how much it costs, to get people to recruit. I can tell you there's probably not a problem getting people to join the CIA. You can throw a PowerPoint slide up, welcome to CIA, apply here. And so nobody would know who you are. But effectively, this lady can never go undercover at all. So she's stuck behind a desk, getting a government paycheck, playing the game. Okay. And then the next thing I want to talk about was a little bit more of a serious matter. This one lady was, I'm not even going to say what her race was, but this one lady was stopped by a law enforcement officer in Southern California. And he didn't have a government-issued body cam on. He had bought his own body cam and had it on his uniform, using it on his stops, so that so he would have a level of protection if something ever happened. Well, something happened. So this lady that he stopped, she flat out was calling him a murderer. I don't know if she knew she was being recorded, but she was vile, she was offensive, and she kept calling him a murderer and a Mexican racist, and that he would never be. He said, she said, "You'll always be a Mexican racist. You'll never be white." And they had stopped her because she was on her cell phone, and in California, it's against the law, I guess, to be able to. It's distracted driving. You shouldn't do it anyway. So they stopped her and was giving her a ticket, and then she accused him of profiling, and she was afraid of him, so that's why she was recording. And she said, "I was only doing 38 and a 40," and they told her, "We weren't stopping you for the for speeding because you wasn't speeding. We were stopping because of that for the cell phone." Well, she just kept on and would not stop, and it, out of the blue, she said, "Oh, and I'm a teacher." What in the world does that whole confrontation with that deputy or that police officer have to do with her being a teacher? Was that like a get out of jail free card? Were they supposed to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, you're a teacher. You can go on about your business." Oh, wait a minute. Aren't you supposed to be on your Zoom call with your students? Because they sure aren't in classrooms right now down there. Because they're afraid of their shadow, and these teachers are, with the way they're influencing the CDC on their mission statement about getting back to the classrooms through the CDC, the acceptable risk. You got kids that are chomping at the bit to get back in the classroom. You got parents that want to get back to work, but they can't because their kids are in school at home, and you can't leave them unsupervised. You leave your kids unsupervised so they go to class. Someone finds out they're home alone, then they end up calling CPS, and you got a whole other thing going on and stuff, and it's crazy. But yeah, this lady was getting a traffic ticket, and she said, "Oh, and I'm a teacher." Well, and she didn't have her driver's license. Try that here in Texas. You get stopped without your driver's license. You might be putting silver bracelets on and taking a free ride in a police car to a police station. That's one of the first things they teach around here is keep your ID on you. If you're driving down the road, make sure you got your insurance, in which here in Texas we can show a picture on our cell phone, like, "Hey, I got my insurance here." License, registration. Our registration is on our windshields here in Texas anyway. But the number one thing is your driver's license. You can't go into, there's a whole lot of stuff you can't do without a driver's license. And you're going to leave it at home? I bet her purse was there. I bet she was just lying to a police officer. She just wanted to be confrontational, try to cause a scene so she can get in the limelight of what's happening to people around the United States. There's no cause of being abusive to law enforcement officers at all, or to anybody in that fact. Okay, police, the citizen, and citizen to police. We got to be able to get along with each other. Okay, why can't we respect our law enforcement officers? You may society. I think there's like over. I think it's well over 1 million people that are incarcerated around the United States. Okay, and they're not all innocent. Okay, you hear one, "I'm innocent." Well, there might be a couple, but there are a lot of bad people behind bars. Okay, and when you compare it to 330 million people live in our country, and you compare the population of prisoners to people, because you're going to have bad apples everywhere. You're going to have flat-out criminals. And the same thing, you're going to have bad police officers. does not mean bad. All police officers are bad. Okay, and when they find those bad police officers, they deal with them. That's not people out there. You cannot say police departments and sheriff departments are crooked and racist, systemic racism. Come on, lose that phrase, okay? Treat people with respect, and if you find someone that's not operating in accordance with the law, get them off that police force, and they do that. Okay. Let's just hope, as I'm getting ready to sign off, that we'll circle back. Like, thank you, Jen Psaki, for that phrase. We'll circle back to the top with the border crisis. Let's just hope the VP finally has a press conference where she can answer up to the American people, because she's the de facto. I ain't gonna call her that. Okay, I won't go down that road the president did, but her and the president need to have a very thorough news conference about what's going on the southern border, and the plan to fix it. Not the plan to let everybody into the United States and make them legal aliens. We need solutions, effective solutions that work, and to protect the national and territorial integrity of the United States of America. Okay, not let it be an open border, people flow back and forth. We need security here. All right? Thank y'all very much for listening, and I hope everybody has a great day. Remember, this is episode 30. As I'm signing off, I'm going to put my title slide back on, so if you want to email me, that's my email address, jp8report@gmail.com. This is episode 30. The border crisis continues. And don't forget to subscribe, and I hope everybody has a great day. And I'll see y'all later. See you on the flip side. And this is James. I'm out.